So how do you become the queen of DeFi? You drop out of Harvard?
Yes, my mission is something so much more bigger.
From Wall Street to Web3, ex-investment banker. From San Francisco to London to Bangkok, drop out of Harvard Business School to go all in on DeFi before it was cool. Built Alpha Finance Lab. The woman who first introduced leverage yield farming in DeFi. First project from Thailand that reached $2 billion in TVL. Now she is the co-founder and CEO of INFINIT. Meet Tascha Punyaneramiti.
Last year I lost a lot of money on the DeFi AI, crypto AI agents. Is crypto AI a scam?
Well, 99% of the projects are scam, but we are the 1%.
Hey, we are here with Tascha Pan, Queen of DeFi. Right now she's a founder of INFINIT Labs.
Hi, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so let's start. What's your background?
Yeah, so born and raised in Thailand. I'm Thai and went to study in the US, studied economics. I did multiple, jobs and internships in different parts of finance. In total, I think I had 10 internships by the time I graduated.
TradFi, bro.
Yeah, TradFi world, pre-crypto. And after graduation, I went into investment banking, which is also in traditional finance as well. So did M&A, IPO, debt financing for tech companies in the US and in UK. And then I pivoted to become a product manager at Tencent. So pretty interesting because I got to work with US companies, European companies, and Chinese companies as well. Very different cultures and different, I would say mindsets and strengths and weaknesses that each kind of org kind of have.
Let's step back a little bit. This is out of curiosity, right?
Yeah.
Because you studied at Berkeley with niche also.
Yeah.
And I guess Berkeley culture, SF culture is more startup. Back then it's everyone just want to work at a startup, right? So why?
Not yet.
So why even TradFi though? Because back then I thought startup world is so big, right? Especially in SF.
Yes and no. It's unless you're an engineer, then you would probably be joining Google, not even startups, but tech companies.
Yeah, VCs,
only a few people actually joined startup back then, 2016, 15, 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a bit earlier than the startup boom, right?
Yeah, hard to say. Yeah, but for non-tech, it's quite common still to join finance. Yeah, accounting, finance, consulting, that's the majority, yeah.
Very traditional.
Yeah, still.
Traditional,
Yeah.
And then you work in London also?
Yeah, worked in US and worked in London. And then came back to Thailand to work at Tencent. And yeah, super interesting.
I think this is a big shift. It's because most of the people that I know, when they're into investment banking, that final goal is I want to work into private, I want to go into private equity, right? It's I think that's 90% of the population.
Yeah.
And then you pivot into the PM role.
Yeah.
I think that's a very unexpected career path, right?
Yeah, I did not plan for it either.
Yeah, so what brings you to Tencent then?
Yeah, I think because my goal initially already was to own a company and make a change through a company. Just that when I was graduating, I did not have ideas what I wanted to build yet. So then I was okay, if I don't know what I want to build yet, perhaps I go the acquire route. So then if we can acquire a company, we drive change through that company that we acquire, then that could be another way, right? So that's my naive self, and that's why I was looking into going to private equity, and hence in order to get to private equity, you need to have investment banking career, right? But I think after I worked in investment banking and I realized that, hey, this is not really what would eventually lead to making change in corporate, business world.
So you get a lot of money, but not
and you help
lives,
drive
right?
a lot of different processes, but not kind of change that I'm looking for. So then after realizing that, hey, private equity is actually quite the same thing, just a bit better hours, then I start questioning what kind of change I look to make. And then I realized that, okay, the change I want to make is really from the ground up and not just
building something
down.
from 0 to 1. Not starting with the capital and then just acquire.
Correct. Yeah. So kind of it's a whole process of learning about myself as well, which from that process, then it makes me realize that, okay, any company needs a product. So if I don't know what company I want to build yet, or like what kind of problems I want to solve yet, then might as well start from joining like a product team and really like learn on the product side of things. So that kind of like made the pivot. So, pretty much like all those years of investment banking, not a lot of things are transferable except for, the long hours that you're used to. And
so it's like you get all the work ethics from the investment banking side, but then like all the leading the product from 0 to 1, that's more like from the Tencent side, right?
Yeah, or even like self learning and like learn on a job. Yeah.
Any lessons from Tencent that helped you to become like a better founder? Does product manager role, does it like help to become a strong founder?
I think
because I think you're a very strong founder and you execute very fast.
I think yes and no. Like I would not say you have to have done a product role in order to be a good founder. But of course, getting exposure to like a product role helps you to know like what's good, what's bad, and like what are the ways. But I think you have to adapt a lot and apply a lot in crypto, because a lot of the frameworks in like traditional like Web 2 products
it's not gonna work
may not work as similarly, and the time frame for Web 2 is so long. Like in Web 3, things change in like daily, right? And now
so it's more like adapt, right? Have
beginning
to adapt
of the
fast.
week, these things came up. The end of the week, no one talks about this anymore. So you really need to be so clear and adapt those frameworks to crypto.
Okay, so how do you first get into crypto?
Yeah, I think it was like early 2018 when I was trading crypto, Bitcoin, of course.
Oh, you were trading first. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I traded first, and then it went, downhill with the whole cycle
18.
as well. And then I was like, yeah, I better kind of learn more like what this is before like digging even further. A lot of my friends just like closed their Coinbase account because we were in the US back then. But I kept my Coinbase account, so it's actually I still have it, which is like quite
You stay during the toughest time, the darkest moment.
Yeah, and then like learn about
2018.
it. And so I think there are like two aha moments for me that really made me like do things more in crypto, or like work or build things in crypto. The first aha moment was actually like when I was reading like Bitcoin white paper, and I just thought this is so interesting, and like this can actually change like financial systems, because technically this blockchain is like a payment gateway at scale, and like no geographical barrier, no language barrier, because it's like a new language. So that is something that like really interests me, because I think for me like finance is like interest myself already. And I see how this can be applied to like financial systems and like what this could lead into. And that's the first aha moment that holy shit, this could be a lot more.
Yeah.
And that was like, even before 2020, right? And then the second aha moment was when I dropped out of Harvard Business School and met my current co-founder. But then
Nipun, right?
Nipun, but back then was a friend of a friend. And his background is very like mathematical and very computer science, very tech.
Curve.
Yeah, they're very the opposite of my strength. But I found it very complementing, where let's say like when I have an idea, I bounce with him, he come back with another like totally opposite perspective that really like continue that discussion forward, and that's when we started to bounce a lot of ideas.
How do you guys meet each other?
A friend of a friend, and we were in the US at the same time.
Oh.
He went to MIT, so there were like not that many
Is he
Thai.
the same age?
Yeah, same age.
Oh,
yeah.
correct.
There are not a lot of Thai people in the US studying like in universities.
Oh.
So connected pretty easily.
Back then, do we have band protocol? Yeah, we have band protocol.
I think so. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Nipun, and then you're like, oh, let's do something together.
Yeah. And Nipun was actually building like algorithmic trading crypto back then for his personal use. So he's already like very into crypto already, and we kind of like bounce more for different products. Yeah. Yeah. So after that, then
But I mean, like, this is a very interesting take, because like most people into crypto in it for the money, right? It's like from the investment perspective, but for you it's different. It's like you want to build something in crypto.
Yeah.
Which is way different to like 90% of other people.
Yeah.
So what's make you want to do this?
This really goes back to like the urge that I have in myself, which is like I want to build something that is impactful.
Yeah.
But the whole time in my career, I was figuring out like what that thing is, because we cannot just force ourselves into like, you know, liking something, right? Yeah. But for me, I like finance, and I think it's kind of hard to say that for a lot of people, but I do, and see that, hey, like blockchain is actually like a new infrastructure for a new kind of financial system, which it's open for anyone to build, and there's no like rules yet in terms of like how to build things. At the same time, if you build anything on this new land, it's, you know, accessible globally day one. Yeah. Which I feel like, wow, that's a really interesting.
Which is a very difficult thing in the normal world, right? It's like you build for some specific geography, whereas in blockchain it's like bang. Yeah. It's global from day one.
And let's say, you know, like the current financial systems in, you know, TradFi or like Web2, it's built for like, you know, decades. So if you're gonna do anything here, you can make impact, but incremental. It's not going to be like big leap, because all the big leaps have been like figured out. So yeah, I think that's why like I got a lot more interested in like blockchain system, where this could be really like a big innovation that could happen in the financial systems. And Nipun himself, my co-founder, he's very into math and computer science, and I think those two are the things that are super native to blockchain, where everything is code, everything is also, especially in DeFi, everything's math. You have to be aware of like all these different algorithms or even like calculations to like calculate different.
It's very hard to find a Thai guy who has like five gold medals, right? Yeah. He has 5 IMO,
international
Olympiad, something like that.
Yeah. So we kind of took off from there, and then what started out as like a bouncing session and like experiments became like a product, because one of the products took off, which is called Alpha Homora, back in 2020 when we first launched the product. First it was like our idea, and then experimented it, and then it took off. And then once it took off, then that's when I realized, okay, no, I guess I'm not going back to school anymore, because I kind of enjoy this whole process a lot more, and it's like really serves the need that I'm looking for more.
So for the audience out there, so Alpha Homora is the first time you can leverage yield farming, right, on Ethereum. And back then I think it's like one of the DeFi protocol that has the highest yield on ETH.
Yeah, correct.
6-7% around that.
6-7?
6%, right? Around
that.
I
think more. Oh, you mean the yield? Yeah. Not on the farming side.
Which is very hard, like very hard on ETH, right? And then you have like people deposit ETH, that's the lending side, and then you have the people who borrow this to do like yield farming.
Which I think technically it's, if you think about it, it's like a structured product, but we just call it differently. Yeah. In that case, you know, it's yield farming for that particular use.
Yeah. I mean, like back then it's like DeFi summer. It's like you can just yield farm getting like 100%. So the idea is like, why don't you be able to leverage like the TradFi people? Yeah. So you can like make more use of your capital, right? Yeah. So that's the original. But it's very interesting that it's like you got accepted into a Harvard Business School, which is like, most people, it's like that's like the dream. It's like the #1 business school in the world, right? And then like you drop out Harvard into doing Alpha Finance.
Yeah, it did take me like many hours to convince my parents, of course, because I'm like, you know, we're like Asian family. We still care about, well, at least my parents still do care about, you know, names and all these like logos and everything. But yeah, I am pretty happy that I was able to convince them, and
it worked out in the end.
Yeah, it worked out, and I'm a lot. I would say it really served the personal goals a lot more, and
so right now you can be the instructor there.
Yeah, if they want me
to. You can talk about DeFi there.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. I think it's not. For everyone, it's going to be different path for sure. Like, it's not that, hey, this is the path that works for me, and it's going to be the path that I recommend everyone. And I think for every person, like thinking about their like career choices or like life choices, I think you really have to think of like 2 things. Number 1 is, what are your strengths? And in order for you to answer that, you really have to spend time like learning about yourself. And the only way for you to learn about yourself, you got to try a lot of things, and not just like try blindly, but try and reflect. Like, hey, I want to do this because of this, but after doing it, I like this part, I don't like this part, and that's why I'm stepping more into like this thing, right? So like, doing iterative process of that, I think will help you learn more about yourself. And the more you learn more about yourself, the more you will be able to make better life choices that better fit you. Because otherwise, otherwise you will not be able to make the choices that actually fit you. You would just be following other people's choice, which I don't recommend.
So that's a big leap of faith.
Yeah. And I think the second thing is also to understand what are your life goals, or what are your personal urge. Some people have personal urge on family, right? Some people have personal urge on something else. So of course life choices will not fit everyone, but you really have to know yourself based on these two questions. And I think that's why I'm so happy now, even though the work is so hard and so many white hair and very stressed all the time. But it's a work stress, but my life, I'm pretty happy with what I'm doing. Yeah.
I mean, I think this is a very impressive, because I think I saw many ex-investment banker, they seem to lack that entrepreneurial spirit, right? I think you have a bit of both. From maybe it's from the working at the tech firm, so it's a blend of everything. Back during Alpha Finance Lab, is there any mistakes that you make and you wish you learned earlier?
So many. And I think this is actually the part that I enjoy about entrepreneurship, which is you really get to see yourself through the company you build. And I would say I also get to reflect and see myself more through these mistakes over time, because typically if you are going to reflect yourself, it's actually pretty hard. But if you actually can see through the company, you will, and if you analyze a lot, and you will see that, oh shit, this happens in the company as a mistake, or this is the way the company functions because of this is the way I'm leading, right? So I have multiple of these aha moment, oh wow, if I can fix this myself, it would also fix the company. So in terms of these mistakes, there are quite a lot, from minute mistakes.
Anything
to,
that you can share
mistakes.
to aspiring first-time founder out there?
Yeah, I think multiple ones. I think so. A lot of the first-time, well, not first-time, but I think a lot of the founders, myself included, back in the days, you gotta make sure you keep yourself so clear what are the anchor for the company and for the company to succeed. So that clarity is so important, and I think crypto makes it so hard because crypto is so fast.
You have to pivot a lot,
and
right?
The crypto market is not only fast, but it's also narrative centric. So you gotta be able to evaluate enough, okay, which is actually gonna be lasting and which is not. And for the ones that's lasting, does that mean anything to you? Because there are two ways of building, right? One way of building is you build in your own bubble. You ignore the world, you ignore everything. So there are two ways of building. One way is you build, in isolation, and you care about your users, but you don't care much about what else is going on, what other industries are impacting you, which I think crypto makes it
that's bad.
Hard to do that, because in the real world, things move a lot slower. So even though you build your own pace, the world is also moving slower. So you can also have time to internalize what the world.
So it's more
impacts,
you have to shift faster and then get the user feedback ASAP, right?
Yeah, shift faster, get user feedback, but not every. You have to have a clarity enough to know which move you have to move and which one you actually don't move. And I think that's hard to be able to evaluate so quickly in such a short time. And I think that's also one of the mistakes that we had as well, because there were times that we got distracted. And I think it's also because number one, clarity, but number two, crypto makes it so hard to be clear, because who knows what's gonna happen in 2 years.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
So at the same time as
it's back then it's DeFi, and then you have NFTs, then you have GameFi, right? I think that's the three biggest narratives.
Yeah. So I think it's you have to be clear how your product is going to fit or not fit with anything, and once you're clear with that, then you will know whether if there's any shift or features or anything you have to build or not build. So I think we did spend like quite some amount of time that actually like build features for target users that are wrong,
So basically it's like not identifying your key ideal customer, and it's like keep pivoting.
Not quite. No, I think it's like we identify clear key customers, but because clear key customers in crypto morph so often. Like DeFi users also, farm NFT. They also like use game. So then you have to be clear. Okay, like if the users are morphing, do you morph as well? Which is a hard question. Like, hey, if you don't morph, but your users are morphing, what does that mean? And okay, versus if you morph together with your users,
and then
what's the core? What's your anchor?
Going back,
So I think that's quite difficult. And of course, learn through the hard way. We got distracted. We did multiple things, and of course, all those things are say like good lessons that really shape how we build Infinite now as well.
How was your experience like raising money for the first time?
Yeah, the first time.
This must be very hard, right? Because no one knows you.
The first time was 2020.
Yeah.
I would say the first time in 2020 was going to be the easier time than if you were to raise the first time in 2023.
Oh.
Yeah, so imagine like 2020 was actually when
pre-bull market,
as well as there was no DeFi yet.
Yeah.
Like DeFi was here and there, but not like big adoption of DeFi, right? So a lot of the investors and a lot of the funds are still, willing to try things out because everything's new.
Yeah.
And so that's the first thing. That's the beneficial thing. The second beneficial thing is that blockchain back then, the only use case for blockchain is DeFi.
Yeah.
So if anyone's bidding on blockchain, it's DeFi. So when that's the case, it also means that every fund investing in blockchain would be investing and interested in DeFi.
Yeah.
Nowadays, funds are so different and so diverse. This particular fund invests only in consumer. This fund only in, let's say, like robotics only. This
more specialized VC.
Yeah, very specialized. So you gotta know the So nowadays that means that you cannot just know any VC. You need to know the relevant VC in that sector, which also is even harder to find than, let's say, just generalized VC, right? So luckily, I would say the timing that I raised my first round ever, that was for the previous company, Alpha Finance, was somewhat pretty doable because of all these reasons.
Yeah, everything is so new.
Yeah, and
I thought you're gonna say like 2023 is easier than 2020 because first I thought it's gonna be harder because no one has money.
Oh.
I thought that's gonna be the answer.
Yeah.
Because a lot we see get wrecked during the 21 and FTX and all those, right?
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2023, I think also, even though I raised time for multiple, not the first time in 2023, this is the first round for Infinite in 2023, but not my first time fundraising. I still find it, pretty challenging.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Luckily, the good thing is I know a lot of funds already from my previous company and fundraising experiences. But the difficult part, I think, are multiple things. One is the industry has matured. Like 3 years is a long time in crypto, right? Industry has matured, and now that it's matured, then investors are less willing to try new things, which I think is better for industry as well because they need more proofs. Like they need more validations.
Yeah.
They need working product, not just idea.
Yeah.
They need more things.
Because basically they lose a lot of money. That's why they need more traction, more revenue.
Yeah. So I think the bar is for fundraising is definitely higher in 2023, which I think will continue to be higher as time goes, and eventually will probably be as high as how typical Web2 company fundraise now, right?
But seems like Infinite, you guys have been doing very good with Tencent. You have Tencent and Maelstrom from other Haze.
Yeah, we have Electric Capital leading, Hash, and Mirana. These are 3 co-leads. And we also have like many other funds join, like Lightspeed Faction, Tangent, like Jason Choi, other Haze, Maelstrom, many more.
Any reason why you picked those?
Yeah, there are multiple reasons. Like we pick based on multiple aspects. Like aspect 1 is like geography. I got to make sure there are like US-based funds for US relationships, teams, projects. and like Asian-based funds and
But that's
also like
hash, right?
European. Yeah, and the reason that I like to have like
Which
funds.
one from which one is from Europe? So basically US and hash.
US and-
Hash is like Asia, right?
Yeah, Hash as well as Mirana is Asian as well.
Oh, Mirana.
It's Bybit's VC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as well as
Tencent.
well, Tencent too, but also Nomad Capital, which is like ex-Binance right-hand guy of CCs. Yeah. But the reason that
Is that the
insure-
reason that you get listed on Binance very quickly?
No. I wish. It was tough.
No, I mean like many projects they really struggle. They really struggle to list on exchanges, but it's like
Yeah.
Infinite is like bang, 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 very quick compared to this. Which is
Yeah.
not easy.
Yeah, not easy at all.
Yeah. So that's how. So basically everything starts with the VCs, I guess.
No, I would say everything starts from the product and the vision. I would say VCs are locked on the funds side. There are strategic help here and there depending on funds, but I don't see it as like core.
Yeah, it's more like a
function for, like,
value-added
why the
thing, more like
company
the
works.
core thing.
Yeah.
Any advice for founder raising? First-time founder.
Yeah, I suggest that you should get like funds from Asia and funds from US. Of course, top quality ones. And the reason I say that is because US-based funds have different way of thinking than Asian-based fund, which can be good in different aspects. So I think like US-based funds can really help you brainstorm on product, and they're more like product-driven and more, like thinking partner on that side, which I find that can be helpful. And I think Asian-based funds are more like capital market side, like they can actually help you think more on token structure, getting liquidity. There's actually like more liquidity willing to give to different projects at different structure in Asia, right? So
especially a DeFi project, right? Like TVL deals, like all those stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I think that's the advice. And the second advice is you should take feedback from VCs rejecting you seriously. Yeah. So there's a fine line between really believing in what you're building and acknowledging that what you're building may not work. Yeah, because
so just be confident enough, but also not super ego that you don't listen to anyone.
Yeah, because there can be a mindset where like you gotta finish this fundraising, and no matter what anyone say, you gotta make sure you finish it.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But be sure to acknowledge of the feedback that they reject you as well, because I think those are like very, very important, and it can also help shape how you think of your product, how you think of your, growth of the company going forward. And I feel like it's going to be not many times where people who see so many companies, sit down and evaluate your company and also feedback to you. Yeah, and this is like I would say like the good thing that you also get out of fundraising, as opposed of just. And
because they have a skin in the game, that's why they want to win with you, right?
Yeah, but I mean the investors who don't invest, you should really like dig into that reasons and think more about like what does that mean.
Any tips on how to spot a bad VCs?
I think depends on what you are looking for your VC. So assuming that you are looking for, let's say like product-driven VCs, of course the VCs that don't really understand the product and like ask like simple questions on like landscape, then that can be like a red flag. But if you're looking for diverse sets of quality of VCs, then it would be different. So I think the key is like you gotta make sure you have clarity of like what you're looking for in your investors, list down in categories, and then figure out, okay, which type of investors have this strength, and then like, fundraise from them.
Okay, so right now you are founder and CEO of Infinite, right?
Yep.
So for those who don't know, let's say you have to explain Infinite to like a kids or your grandma, how would you explain it?
Yeah.
In the simplest.
Very simplest form would be your personal financial assistant, for crypto, all things related to crypto. So
it's like a robo advisor, like in TradFi.
Yes, if in TradFi would be something like that, but more than that, because robo advisors can only like advise. But for Infinite, like there are two key parts. The first part is to recommend the relevant, opportunities, DeFi opportunities, DeFi yields, DeFi strategies for you to do things. Because right now their information is so fragmented, and there are so many ways you can actually like achieve your goals, but you may not know like what is right for you. This one may be too risky, this one may be too long of a timeline, etc. Right? So the first product that we have, Infinite Intelligence, would recommend based on your risk profile, based on your risk, the traction of your historical wallet data, based on the activity on chain right now, based on the up-to-date information of different DeFi protocols and yields.
So it's more like a basic wealth management, right? It's like they ask you, hey, what's your risk tolerance? What's your goal? What's your expected risk? What's your expected return?
In this case,
and then they recommend a portfolio of something.
Correct. But in this case, you don't have to even answer these questions because we have AI to learn about this based on your wallet. So it's automatic. And the second part is to execute all these things for you. So in the TradFi world, you don't have to handle all these executions because you have like banks who do this for you. Whether it's banks or like funds or whatever like centralized entity that handle this for you. In blockchains, there are no centralized entity that handle these for you, right? Your keys, your coins, so you have to do all these yourself, which becomes pretty troublesome because now there are like 50 L1s and L2. Each L1 and L2 have their own like financial applications and DeFi. So even if you already know what you want to do, it might become like a nightmare to actually doing it yourself. So we built another product which is called Infinite Strategies that enable anyone to just do all these execution in one click with the help of AI agents. So we built different DeFi agents that understand how to do this for different particular DeFi protocols and do everything for you.
I think let's go back to the basic first. So what are AI agents?
Yeah.
So what are DeFi agents?
Yeah, so DeFi agents are, or maybe like what are agents, or like agents first, right? So agents are, you can, simple terms, you can think of it as the piece of code that actually learn over time about a particular thing. So analogy would be like, one simple human, right? One human learns something more over time and able to make decision better and better over time. So AI agents are like that as well, but you need to also give the scope of what that AI agents should learn more about and should be able to do. Because if you don't give the scope, and if you give the scope too big, then it can be very confused as well. Like, how do I do this? And maybe it might try to do things that are wrong because there's too many things they have to learn. So that's the simple.
So it's more like a machine that learn information from you. They take all your data, learn from you, and then try to suggest you things that you like?
No, but that is one use case of AI agent. Depending on what you set as the scope for that AI agent, some particular AI agent is so good at trading. So it would find the scope within that agent. Let's say the scope is set to always find arbitrage gap between USDC on Ethereum and on BSC, for example. If that's the scope, then AI agent would figure out what they need to learn, what data they need to access of, and how to analyze these data and execute it themselves. So given the scope, it would evolve to learn what it has to know and what it has to be able to do and develop capability to do those things. So for our case, we built AI agents that understand and can do things, all things DeFi. So our focus is DeFi, but we use AI to supplement the user experience of DeFi because it's very troublesome.
Make it simpler for the users. Instead of them having to click 10 buttons, they only click once, right? They sign once?
Yeah, depending on different use case, but that use case,
Yeah, I think that's even big win for DeFi.
Yeah, right? And I think another big part of our product is what we call prompt to DeFi, which we think that it can change the way people use and think of DeFi as well. Because right now, when people use DeFi, there are two ways.
Yeah.
One is you manually do things.
Yeah.
Second is you write code to automate things for you. Very minimal, like not a lot of people do this.
Yeah.
And even if you do this, you also need to like audit the contract and everything.
That seems very difficult, yeah.
Yeah, so our product enables the third way, which is prompt to DeFi, meaning that you have your own workflow. Let's say you have an idea, you want to do step 1, step 2, step 3, and these are the whole workflow or like strategy. And you submit it to our platform. Behind the scene, our infrastructure, we have like 30 agents. These are individual DeFi agents that actually work together to turn that steps that you write into an actual on-chain transaction that presents to you that, okay, this is what's going to happen. So you get to review first what's going to happen, and you click one time and then it executes the whole flow. Yeah.
So from my understanding, it's like anything from like a very basic task, let's say like bridge from Arbitrum to base, like just that you can just type in the chat and then they will have like a signing, you just sign, that's it, right? So that's a very basic.
Yeah.
Until like a very complicated strategy, like 8 steps.
Yep.
You also do that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so then this capability can really plug in with the first product, Infinite Intelligence, that recommend you strategies, because right now the pain that users also have is they have to scroll through a lot of Twitter accounts, a lot of alpha groups on Telegram to see what they want to do. Like what's there in DeFi that people should do, right? Or even like a simple question of like, okay, what's the best view for stables? They're like so many chains, so many good protocols offering different things, and yields change all the time, right? So this is where Infinite Intelligence come in and answer these. So like research these things and answer these things for you. And once you know what you want to do based on Infinite Intelligence product, you can also execute them on Infinite Strategies product. Yeah.
Why does DeFi space needs AI?
Yeah, I think 2 big things, and I think these 2 are the 2 things that go for any industry as well that would need AI. One is if that infrastructure is connected, AI would thrive more, because if you look at like the world nowadays, right? Every infrastructure is pretty fragmented. This one is owned by this company, this one is owned by another company. So if you want to implement AI to really like streamline the flow, you cannot, because you cannot access each other.
Yeah.
But for DeFi or even things on blockchain, everything is accessible among each other.
Like a money Lego, right?
Yeah, which makes it a lot easier for AI to thrive, because it means that there are a lot more things that AI can do, not just within one's ecosystem, but AI can do multiple things across multiple ecosystems. So I think that's the first thing. The second thing is for DeFi itself, like data is available, because for every financial product, data is very important, right? If you're going to implement AI in the actual world, you cannot even get access to data. Like these companies would give you data, right? So now that data is available.
Oh, because everything is transparent on chain.
Yeah.
Everything is like you can track it, so it's easier to everyone can access the data.
Yeah,
right?
like hey, this is how many people use this product. This is the APY. This is like the change of like liquidity, and because of these data changes, then that means that decision should be changed. So all these things, like these are the 2 things that are so important for systems to be able to automate and like evolve to think, make decisions, and execute. Because otherwise, if you don't have data, or if you have data but you don't have like ways to execute that across multiple ecosystems, then like AI won't really help as much.
Okay, so let's recap the main core function of Infinite. So what are they?
Yeah, so there are 2 end products. The first is called Infinite Intelligence.
Intelligence. Okay.
Which and the second one is Infinite Strategies. Behind this is Infinite AI Agent Infrastructure.
Okay. Which, like in the infrastructure layer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which currently we build these multiple parts of the infrastructure to serve ourselves as the application layer, but we're also looking to utilize this infrastructure to benefit other projects and other developers as well, which I can share a bit more. But to kind of dig a bit deeper, Infinite Intelligence, you can think of it as your DeFi research, personalized DeFi research.
AI search for DeFi.
Yes,
Okay.
personalized
Okay.
as well. Yield searchers, DeFi strategy searchers, relevant for yourself based on who you are, your risk profile, your activities on chain. Infinite strategies is ability for anyone to write their ideas of workflows and strategies and let DeFi agents within Infinite execute it. And if you don't want to write those ideas or you don't have those ideas, you can come to the product app.infinite.tech and you will see multiple strategies that are already written by multiple strategy creator and created by our DeFi agents, and you can copy the strategy.
So right now anyone can create the strategy, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, correct. And for the end users who may not want to write the prompt or may not want to write the workflow, you don't have to. So you can also come and you can browse through the strategies that have already been written, and you can one click to execute it. And by executing, then behind the scene, AI agents would handle the execution.
The one who formulate the strategy, does he take like a cut? Is it more like a management fee, performance fees?
Yes, there would be
of?
fee split, yes.
Oh.
So the end users who use the strategies would be paying fees, and the fees would be split among Infinite and the strategy creator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then the last part, the Infinite AI agent infrastructure, is composed of multiple components, but you can think of it as like, right now we have like 30 DeFi agents, and each DeFi agent is composable and can work with other agents, which means that right now we have like so many combinations of DeFi strategies that can be
30
done.
factorial.
Yeah, because each one can work with like many other ones. And what we're doing now is like turning these DeFi agents into a fundamental building block that other developers, other teams would be able to build on top of our DeFi agents to do more use case on agentic DeFi. Yeah.
So you have, again, okay, let me recap. So Infinite Search,
Infinite Intelligence.
Infinite Intelligence, which is more like a perplexity search, and Infinite Prompt to DeFi.
Infinite Strategies.
Strategy, that's strategy, and then Infinite Infrastructure.
Yeah.
Which right now it's only two application layer built on this, but then in the future, like a bunch of, like any other DeFi protocol can just plug in and then build on Infinite infra layer.
Yeah, correct.
Right? Okay. So how safe is Infinite? Like, cause normally people do things manually, and you can make sure that you sign like one transaction one by one. But then let's say like 10 bundle of transaction get into one. It may look easy, but it's like maybe it's a bit more risky. Like, how do you deal with the safety issues?
Yeah, actually people still sign because we don't let AI manage the funds. So what that means is that before you execute anything on Infinite, it would show you exactly like where the fund goes for each step. So you actually see the breakdown of like the whole flow, and that's the breakdown that is going to be executed. So once you confirm, what happens is, because we build using EIP 7702 and ERC 4337, which these two technology combined, it helps batching all these transactions into one click. So that means that the batching capability is actually done via Ethereum capability. And good thing here, I think, is actually if you do it manually, perhaps there are even more room for error than if this batching capability were to be done, because batching works as...
So it's just one click, right?
Yeah.
One sign?
Yes.
That's it? Oh.
Yeah. And one sign, because all these transactions are batched together with capability of EIP 7702. So that's the first thing.
Is it like when I sign, is it like a human readable format, or is it just
human readable,
right?
Yeah.
It's like, so I know exactly what this means, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
It actually have like a whole diagram of like, you have, let's say 100 USDC in this protocol as a lending, and then you're gonna be borrowing here, and you're gonna be swapping here. It shows like number for every step itself. So that's the first part, and so visibility is there.
Yeah.
The second part is on the funds itself. Like we acknowledge that AI may not be as 100% accurate yet. So therefore we scope the objective of AI to only be putting together the transaction. So once the transaction is put into a piece of code, and once you execute it, it is this code that gets executed. So in the process of execution itself, there's no AI now. So the AI is actually pre-execution.
Yeah.
So the AI part is to turn your prompt
into
this code.
Yeah.
Which
and then that code turns into like a human readable format in the simple diagram chart, and you can just sign.
Yes.
That's it.
Correct. Yeah. So the downside of this though is that for every transaction or every workflow or every strategy you do, you are going to be in front of the computer. Like there's no execution when you're asleep. So that's the downside, because some people actually want all things automated for you.
Yeah.
But that downside also comes with the upside, because this platform will not do anything funky, because you actually like sign every time. And I think this solution will evolve over time as AI progresses as well. I think it's both pros and cons, right? Yeah.
The pros is like you take safety very seriously. The con is like, let's say today it's like there's the highest yield on Arbitrum, and then tomorrow is Optimism, tomorrow is Plasma, for example. Like so you have to wake up and check the yield and manually do it 3 times, right?
But we are like researching into different ways that we can achieve that end result for the user experience without sacrificing security. Still researching, but it's not the solution that...
I think that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Because all the users, they just like, I want maybe very safe, like 12%-ish. Can you just go and do that? I don't really care where you come from, but make sure it's pretty safe.
Yeah.
I don't need more than 12%, something like that, right? Any extra measures to make sure that it's safe?
Yeah, quite multiple, because so if you think about it, like for every DeFi agent we build, right now we build ourselves. We don't open source this yet, because we want to prevent like bad agents.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's going to be multiple phases before we get there into like opening up DeFi agent creation to be permissionless. So step one,
So right now around 30 agents, right?
Yeah. So these agents are the ones that we built ourselves, audited, go through multiple rounds of like checks. That's the first step. The second step is once the prompt is being input, whether it's from our team or from anyone, it goes through multiple like automatic code review per se, because once the prompt or the workflow that's being input turn into a piece of code by DeFi agents, now this piece of code gets to have multiple like audited, right? So code checks within the system, automatic check by the AI, check by human automatically, and then after that it's become like a published strategy. So that's the second, right? And then the third is a lot of layers of checking. Yeah. And then the third is once the strategies are up on the platform, there are also like verified strategies and unverified strategies to even show the users more into like, okay.
Verify means like it's actually get it gets checked by the INFINIT team.
Yeah, correct. Right? Yes. And then also like adopted like multiple metrics that we look at, not just the checking itself. And then so that's the third. And then the fourth is even before you execute it, you would be able to see exactly like the flow. So if the flow is a bit funky, then you know even before you decide to execute. Yeah.
Is there any timeline, like, so right now it's 30 agents. Is it like you need 100 agents first, built internally, until you kind of like let anyone build their own agents?
We don't have that timeline in terms of the number of agents. We actually have timeline in terms of adoption.
Yeah.
So adoption in terms of like how many types of strategies, how many strategy creators are there, how many types of strategies are being utilized. So making sure we achieve some sort of like product market fit to a certain level, that we are sure that okay, now it's ready to become more of like an open platform.
So basically make sure there's enough users first. Right?
Yeah. And like a lot of like consistent users, because we do have a lot of users right now, but what we're looking to craft right now is we're looking to craft like consistent users for a particular like same use case. So we really see a standout like particular use case on the platform. Because like right now we have like 500,000 wallets using our platform, but using quite a variety of things. Like still like no pattern in like clear particular like stand out, like 20% use this, 20% use it, and pretty spread out. There's no 50% of the users that use this one thing. So we're iterating the product to find that, and once we find that, we'll keep growing that to push the product to product market fit, and then we open the platform more. Yeah.
So regarding to the challenges of DeFi in AI agents, why don't see any crypto AI project takes off?
Yeah, I think if you think about it, the whole DeFi was built with in mind that users are using it, not agents using it. And that's the same for the whole, crypto, not just DeFi, trading or just on-chain activities itself.
They're built for the users, they're not built for the robots.
For agents, So I think this is the beginning of when we need to think more whether in the future are there going to be more agents doing transactions or are there going to be more humans doing transactions, which our opinion is that agents are going to be doing more transactions on chain, which there are a lot of multiple missing pieces in that picture, and Infinite alone cannot solve this picture. We need multiple companies to work together to solve this picture, right? And what I mean by picture is that we need to think okay, if agents are going to be doing these transactions, what are the infrastructures that are needed? What are the different standards that are needed? Agent to agent standards, agent to wallet standards, agent to payment standards, and that's why we have X402. But X402 is only the first standard.
What's that?
Right? X402 is a standard that Coinbase launched
okay.
to handle how agents can settle payments.
Okay.
But that's only one standard in terms of payments, right? But when we say agentic DeFi or crypto or DeFi AI, there are many more than just payment. And even payment alone, X402 is one piece, but there are many more pieces that are missing. So I think we're going to be going through a whole, infrastructure.
So they're basically payments between one agent to another agent, right?
Yeah, that's only X402, but not the whole thing yet. Yeah, so I think in order for agentic DeFi to really take off, you need to step back and think, what's the infrastructure rails and what's the logistics of agents that are needed, but now built for human, also we need to build for agents. So that's also the same questions we're asking within Infinite as well, in terms of, okay, if we see the world where agents going to be doing more transactions on chain, be it executing strategies or doing the different things, what else is missing? So the good thing is now that we're building our own end products, we also see these different gaps in the infrastructure. So we also build those infrastructure components to serve our own products, but also think beyond our products and question how can these pieces that we build plug into bigger picture and other ecosystems to facilitate more agentic growth. And that's also what we've been doing as well, because we have just announced a partnership with Google, where our DeFi agents now can access all these different agents within Google ecosystem. And any developers who are within Google ecosystems who already have built agents and want to build on top of our DeFi agents can now call our DeFi agents and build different use cases beyond our DeFi agents. So think of our DeFi agents as
to access every agent at Google, which is big.
Yeah, and vice versa as well. So I think we're going to be seeing multiple rounds of improvements. And I think agentic DeFi or DeFi AI is so new that it is common and it is expected that there's no adoption as yet, because a lot of the infrastructure is not put out yet. Yeah.
But I mean, last year there was a Daniel Siesta, DeFi AI. I think he wrote so many pieces on DeFi AI. That's how I learned this DeFi, right?
Yeah.
DeFi AI, right?
Yeah.
But then somehow it doesn't take off. What's the bottlenecks?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I was saying, in which it takes not just one company or not just one product to change the world which is run by human to be run by agents. This is big, right? The world now is run by human. We're changing it to be run by agents. So of course it's not going to be a one-time initiative. It's going to be a whole multi-year and multi-company.
So basically you're saying that the idea is there, but it's just maybe it's not the first batch of the company. Maybe it's some company later, right? That's going to figure this out.
Well, we hope that Infinite will be that company that we lay out the grounds and lay out all these paths, as well as the end consumer product, and changing how people use DeFi, think of DeFi, and also the infrastructure part that really built for agents.
Okay, and with regards to getting users, right? So what's your take on the go-to-market strategy? How do you plan to get users?
Multiple ways, and my thesis have changed multiple times across 5-6 years building in the space as well. So the first tactic that we're doing is we're very clear on who are going to be the target users for each product.
Yeah.
So Infinite Intelligence is more, I would say, like crypto curious. So these are crypto traders who are not yet in DeFi.
Yeah.
So that's why we do a lot of different interviews, and we do a lot of like local communities in different regions, targeting only Infinite Intelligence. We don't even talk about Infinite Strategies or Prompt to DeFi in those regions.
Yeah.
And this helps to get them on board to research. And then as they research, we educate them more on the strategy side and on the other side. And we also do the same thing for Infinite Strategies, Prompt to DeFi with the same ideology. The second tactic is for Infinite Strategies, there are even two segments because we acknowledge it that everyone wants simplicity, right? So we don't actually expect every end users to prompt. Because then,
so you have the 1% that can curate all the top strategy, and
correct.
you have the 99% who just want the yield.
Yeah, so
right?
we engage with that 1%.
Yeah.
So these are crypto KOLs, DeFi experts, or even different funds like DeFi funds that do things on chain. And these are the right target users to be the one to create the strategy. And the key thing is these are the users, or these are the people who already have community following them, whether they are DeFi experts, DeFi KOLs. A lot of these people are already write about these strategies on their content. So now we're enabling them to turn their content into a monetizable asset. Because if they can execute on their strategy from their content, and if they can earn from their content as a passive income, then it becomes like another avenue for them to grow as well. And then the third is on the end users, using Infinite Strategies, we can also leverage the community of DeFi experts, DeFi KOLs that we work with on the strategy creation, because these niche community already have followers, already have community. So we start from tapping those community and then kind of expand from there. So that's like the three strategies that we do on the end products. Another fourth strategy that we do is
how much the KOL gets, the creator?
Yeah,
like
50% split.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
50% on the performance fees that they can charge like 20, they can charge 30.
We don't do performance fee yet.
Yeah.
We do execution fees, only execution fees. So execution fee meaning that once users execute, users pay the fee based on how hard the strategy is. So if the strategy is simple,
so just a one-time fee.
Right now, yes.
So let's say if it's like someone executing $1,000 or 1 million, they're paying the same amount?
Well, it's a percentage of the initial capital. So in this case, it will not be the same.
But
it's a one-time fee, but percentage of that initial capital.
Yeah.
And we're doing like this right now to iterate on multiple like fee structure.
That's going to be a very difficult topic, right? The fee structure.
Yeah.
Because you want to charge enough that you make money, otherwise you don't make money. Or if it's too high, then it's like user just use Infinite as an intelligence platform and then they just switch.
Yeah, so that's why we start with only this part first. Yeah. But then the fourth tactic that I also believe in is we don't require users to, go to another platform. So we actually go to where the users are. So in this case, we're also working with multiple Web3 and exchanges wallets to integrate Infinite Strategies directly into the wallet. So that means that all these crypto traders or crypto wallet users, they're already familiar with using let's say all these wallets, right? They have the funds in there. Now they actually have a huge barrier to actually move the funds on chain to do things DeFi. So we don't require them to do that, but we actually wrap our product into like API and streamline these infinite strategies to be shown on these wallets instead. So if they want like a one-click, delta neutral strategy, or like a one-click airdrop farming into what's trending ecosystem right now, they can simply
So it's basically Web3 wallet first, and then maybe centralized exchanges.
Yeah.
That's like the second step.
Yeah, correct.
How difficult would the integration be? Is that difficult?
Integration is not as difficult. I think the long back and forth is on the discussion.
Yeah.
Like incentive splitting or like due diligence. So because they want to make sure that everything's safe on, to be shown on the platform.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time is engaged on that front.
Yeah.
But like actually developing the integration is not that long. Yeah.
Because I think this can be like a dilemma, right? Like from, let's say MetaMask, right? They want to integrate some very, very safe strategy. And that very safe strategy, maybe it's known to it's a very simple one, right? Normally I think maybe infinite users, they're more into like a complicated strategy, which is like, it's gonna require more risk at the end of the day, which is like, yeah.
Yeah, but I think even if you look into like simple strategy, but managing it is troublesome. For example, like, okay, let's say you have stables and you want 10%, like, what's the split? And like, which platform do you use?
Yeah.
And do you use like delta neutral to do that 10%, or do you just lending? Like which one, right? So I think like infinite strategies can help on that front as well.
So I guess the direct competitor may be like the AI DeFi project. Indirect competitor would be like risk curator on different platform, right?
I think competitor then would be, so if you're looking only from using the strategy, then I think competitor would be like yield optimizing platforms.
Yeah.
But I think our unique selling point of the product is actually on prompt to
Creators.
DeFi. Yeah, because once that 1% gets to create, it means that our platform would have all kinds of strategies that are not available anywhere. Yeah, so let's say, no matter how new, how trending the protocol is, the strategy creator would be able to create it on our platform, as opposed to other, yield optimizing platform. It would take weeks or even months for them to write the strategy on the smart contract and then go through the whole process.
So it's basically like targeting KOL, DeFi KOL with followings rather than like Gauntlet, right?
Yeah, correct. As of now, yes.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. You help the smaller people.
Yeah. Democratizing access.
Yeah. Okay, so from your experience, like where are Infinite customers?
Yeah, about like 50% in the US and 30% Asia, 20% quite random. Yeah.
Is there any like different in DeFi behavior amongst the Asians compared to the US people?
Yeah, I think for strategy creators, these are more like US.
US, right?
Yeah, and the customization is more. So for example, like let's say like we have strategies that are already created by DeFi agents, airdrop farming on Hyper EVM, right? And US users would be like, no, like they actually want to change this particular part. They don't want to borrow 75%, they want to borrow 60%.
Yeah.
So the whole like 8-step, they want to change this one particular part.
Yeah.
And that is big enough for them not to use this strategy. But they would rather like prompt their own, which in my opinion kind of takes more time.
Yeah.
But they still want to do that and really nail that number correctly.
Yeah.
So that's also why we see more like US investors, US users doing more like strategy creation, and Asian users using more strategies that are already created. Yeah.
Any geos from Asia?
Hong Kong, a bit, Vietnam, a bit, more in Indonesia.
Korea?
Actually.
No, Korea?
Korea, not so much. Korea is more on like token trading, not using our product as much.
Okay, let's talk about the future now. What's the future of Infinite and what's Pan Ultimate's goal?
So, remember when I mentioned about how DeFi, blockchain, let alone TradFi, they're all built for humans, right? And we're beginning to entering the world where, and believing
AI
more
and
that
robots.
transactions are going to be done through like agents.
Yeah.
So Infinite's goal is two things. One is how do we create and how do we build the trails and infrastructure pieces needed to facilitate agentic first DeFi or like agentic first financial system. The end product that we're building now is just the surface, but it enables us to test different user behavior and get different feedback, because it's also pretty hard to get feedback if you're building like infrastructure, right? Infrastructure is better suited once it's plugged into end product to be tested and everything. But the ultimate goal is how do we turn that end product and feedback that we get from the end product to better iterate on the infrastructure and build more of the pieces that are needed.
So it's more towards the infrastructure side, and then a lot of apps on top, right?
Yeah, that's the first thing. The second thing is on the application level, we also don't, our vision is that people don't have to go onto like 15 platforms to do 15 things.
Yeah.
People will just go to like one thing. So if the world's going to be like that, then we build our application to be agentic compatible. So, whether it's MCP or, rethink the whole applications to be agent friendly, export to compatible, and making sure that all the agents can communicate to our agents and all these things, right? So that's on the application level. But at the end of the day, application is nothing if the infrastructure is not built. So
it's infrastructure side, and then it's like you're targeting the users, not just users, but for the other AI agents also.
Yeah, correct. And I think the core functions and the core product for us is still end product.
Yeah.
So don't confuse that our core product is the infrastructure itself, but we build the infrastructure so that we can build our end product, but we also expand our infrastructure so that we can monetize from it and also help other developers to tap into what we already built to build their own, so they don't have to like rebuild. But ultimately, the components of infrastructure that we're going to be building are going to be the one that serve our end product. And as we do that, it further helps grow the infrastructure landscape and plug into other ecosystem, plug into other infrastructures and become more of like a bigger infrastructure. But ultimately, we'll continue to iterate on that application level of like, okay, agentic friendly applications, agent first interaction, agent first discovery, and like execution of DeFi. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, make it easier for people to use DeFi.
Yeah, and I think the really, really far away goal, but still also my goal for Infinite as well, is to see how this can be applied to actual like TradFi financial systems. Because if you think about it, like actual payment gateway now is built for human, right? And if more and more, real world transactions, not even transactions like financial transactions, but like payments are going to be done by agents. What does that mean? What does that mean for the payment gateway? Do we need like, agentic payment gateway in this case that is like agent first infrastructure? So I think ultimately, because Web3 moves a lot faster and a lot more forefront of new innovation than Web2, so we're doing all these innovation now in Web3 with the goal that we can apply this to
Web2
TradFi, payment system as well. Yeah.
So it's DeFi and then agents and then TradFi.
Yeah.
No robots.
No robots.
Not the Neo X.
No.
Because
Although I would
robot
be supporting their consumer.
Robot is gonna take over your girlfriend. You see the meme, huh?
Yeah. Like the Her movie.
Yeah. Okay, so coming from the business side, so how does Infinite makes money?
Yeah, multiple ways. The first way on Infinite Intelligence, DeFi research side, we will implement subscription.
Okay.
So quite typical process. And I think this product itself may not bring a lot of revenue per head, but what we expect
recurring
is
revenue, right?
recurring revenue, but also many number of users.
Okay.
Because we're targeting like crypto curious or like people who are trading crypto but not yet in DeFi.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty large market. So that's the first number one.
Okay.
The second one is infinite strategies, where we collect fees upon execution based on percentage of initial capital. So this can vary quite a lot based on complexity of the strategies. So it enables us to charge like 0.3 to like 2%.
2.
1 to 2 depend on complexity of the transaction as well. And I think for this one, the expectation here is number of fees per wallet would be quite high, but there might not be as many users as Infinite Intelligence because that's more broad. The third part of the fees is actually on developer side, where because now our DeFi agents are being
built
wrapped,
internally.
No, but our DeFi agents are composable with other ecosystems.
Yeah.
We integrated with Google, we launched that partnership. So now anyone who built within Google ecosystems call our DeFi agents, there would be a fee for every DeFi agents that we build have to work, right? And we keep having more of these integrations as well. Like recently we just announced integration with virtuals. So anyone building in virtuals using our DeFi agents can also save time, not having to build DeFi agents themselves, but we also collect the fees. So all these fees combined, these are the current streams.
I guess the second will be the highest, right?
Per wallet.
Yeah.
And these are the current streams, but as we look to scale, let's say like integrations with wallets, that can also increase the second one more as well in terms of number of wallets being used and like generating the fees. As we integrate more with different ecosystems, similar to Google, similar to virtuals, then there will be more revenue on developer calling our DeFi agents. And then I think these would be the streams from the current product. But again, like our goal is not just build like 2-3 years, but our goal is to build like for multiple decades and really like lay out the ground for what it takes to be like agentic first financial system on blockchain and like TradFi, like real world Web 2 as well. So there are going to be multiple bits and pieces that we built to fulfill that picture, and along the way there will be more way that we monetize.
Yeah. I like it. So it's like 3 model. The first one is recurring subscription model, recurring. Second one is going to bring most of the money, and the third one is maybe for devs, like other agents. Maybe there's like some new AI agents, new virtuals, like blah blah blah. They want to plug in. So that's like the API calls, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. And how does all this money gonna reflect? How does it affect the token value? Is there a buyback?
So our tokenomics revolve around staking.
Yeah.
So first, once you stake, you get access to fees, you get access to product, enhanced product usage as well. Because in the future, we also roll out multiple gated access. For example, like if you want to create your own strategy and monetize from it, you have to stake the token first. So we're going to implement all these product-based usages around staking. So that would be a part of it. And I think our goal is once we accumulate decent and large, like fees and revenues, then we will turn on buyback. So buyback is in the plan to turn on. We don't want to turn on now. We want to use this now to like accumulate and then we turn on when it makes sense.
Okay, so we've been learning a lot from Tascha Panpan's journey from like TradFi to PM to building Alpha Finance to Infinite. Like right now, it's like the vision is so much bigger than just DeFi. So it's more like the intersection between DeFi and AI, and so much vision there.
Thank you. Yeah, I think my final words I want to share with the listeners or audience would be that we're in a very interesting time of the world where now, instead of human doing things, we're starting to see agents doing things. And human would be the beneficial party of that because you don't have to do things, you sit down and just chill. Right?
Yeah.
But it really creates a big opportunity for builders. So if you're a builder or if you're like thinking of you want to build something, I think this is a space that it's really worth taking a look of, like questioning yourself, like how would the world works if it's run by agents, and what is missing in that world that's not yet built. So then there you go, like that's like another big business opportunity right there. And what's good is also that you can take the lessons you learn from world run by humans and make it better in the world run by agents. So yeah, that's very exciting, and for us, that's our goal as well, to keep pioneering forward and be the core company that drive agentic DeFi and eventually agentic finance as well.